Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So, Taking Back America, still in a process. We know that over the last 4 years, it is basically it slipped down a very bad hole. Right? There was a lot of us thought that there was no way that Trump would ever, give up the presidency that he had definitely won in 2020. It's not over yet. So we said that he's coming back. A lot of people say he was coming back. He never came back. All right. So until 2024. And there were a lot of things that happened, over those 4 years that, got a lot of people upset. A lot of people thought there was no way that some of the things that were happening could continue. There was going to be some arrests and on and on and on. Maybe some of those arrests were happening in the background. I believe some of them were, but it remains to be seen. What exactly happened over the last 4 years. But what we can know is that there was definitely an attempt to take over our country and turn our country into a communist dictatorship. And that's definitely the direction that the Dems were taking us. It's not a question, it's a fact. All right, there's enough fact out there that if you want to refute it, go do the research. And then you're going to find out that I'm correct. Right. All right. So let's jump into a little bit of this. Now, there are people that are aligned, and I'm not going to say whether they are being paid to do certain things. Maybe they just have their opinions that are very strong. Maybe they have some really good ideas. Maybe they know things that some of us don't know. I don't know. Right. I don't know. But we need to look at very carefully Laura Loomer, right? So Laura Loomer basically trolled out our national security advisor, and sounds like she got him fired, right? Now, maybe she had some good points. I don't know. It remains to be seen. But it seems like she sowed doubts about Mike Waltz, Donald Trump's departing national security advisor, during a meeting in the Oval Office last month that resulted in the dismissal of multiple staffers, not just Mike Waltz, but multiple staffers on the National Security Council. Now, Mike Waltz, I'm not going to defend him. I'm not, attacking Laura Loomer. I'm just pointing out information. When I heard of this, I was very suspect. Something didn't feel right. Intuition popped on this one. And I don't know which way this is going to go. I don't know Mike Waltz personally. He's American business politician, businessman, author, former Army Special Green Beret officer who served as a national security advisor to President Donald Trump from January to May 2025. So we would expect that Donald Trump is trigger happy after his last term in office, where he was just surrounded by people that were trying to take down his administration, trying to undermine him. And he was firing people left and right. It seems like to me, other than this, that things have been working fairly well. He's done a really good job of researching. He had 4 years to research, right? Actually 8, and maybe even before that. And he's got some good counsel, some really good people. He really asked the American people when he was elected back in November. He started asking people, well, I want to appoint this person. I want to appoint that person. What do you guys think? And we either gave it the yay or the nay. I think most of the yays got them. They got put in office. Some of the nays that he was considering did not, right? So there's been a few of them that I gave the yay and the nay to, mostly yays. And most of those people were in office now. So it's very good. And then one nay. I think I only did one nay, and that person's not in office. So that is the way this thing rolls. It seems like Donald Trump is really focused on we the people, and that's why we really rallied and fought hard to put him in office. Of course, there's some other things I believe that happened in the background that helped that to transpire. I think the election in 2024 was legit. Of course, there were still compromised states, all the states that didn't have voter ID, all of those went dim, right? And dim like low light, right? Not a lot of light, right? And that's why I like to take and put LifeWave patches on me, because it brings a lot of light into my body. So he is a member of the Republican Party. I'm going back to Mike Waltz again, and was the U.S. representative for Florida's 6th congressional district from 2019 to 2025. So Florida's 6th district. Something just came to me. Where is Florida 6th district? Where is that? It is the eastern Florida coast. All right. So South St. Augustine to South Daytona. All right. So I was just curious. I was like, because I know Laura Loomer ran for office in Sarasota, and she lost to some guy. So just making sure, right? So he received 4 Bronze Stars while serving in the Special Forces during multiple combat tours in Afghanistan, the Middle East, and Africa. Now, there's some people who have posted, I follow this one guy, General MC News. He says that AIPAC, which is the pact for Israel, is being shut out of the Trump administration. I don't know about that, but this is what he's posting. Mike Waltz was working with Netanyahu to undermine Trump, and there's hope the U.S. will cut ties with Mossad and MI6, according to independent journalist David Riley. So, you're going to get a lot of information out there. I can't validate that. I don't know about that. I don't know. So you're going to see a lot of stuff flung around, just like last time, just like 2015, and all the way through Trump's first term, all the way through Biden's term, and now. So it's not this poop slinging is not going to stop, guys. It's going to hit the fan. It's going to be thick. But I think that Mike Waltz may have gotten a bum deal, because Trump, after he left, he fired him from the security advisor, national security advisor. He put him in another position. So what is he doing? What is he doing there? I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. So in a podcast interview on the Tara Palmieri show released Thursday, Trump's favorite far-right conspiracy theorist said she'd had concerns about Waltz's loyalty after he signed off on the hiring of individuals who'd previously criticized the president. But now they're on board. Do you guys remember his vice president? There was a little controversy on that too. So J.D. Vance once compared Trump to Hitler. Now he is Trump's vice president-elect. So, I mean, come on. People change, People change. They get more information. Maybe they were steered in the wrong direction. And now they are on board. I think Vance is fantastic. Vance speaks exceptionally well. He's an excellent speaker, actually. He's very articulate, and I think he's doing a great job. So Vance 40 has become the heir apparent to Trump's re-energized Make America Great Again movement. And he is, I think, the youngest vice president in history. I might be mistaken, but that's some of the stuff I've seen, right? So I don't know why that keeps disappearing like that. Stop doing that. All right, I need to read you. When his Hitler comment was first reported in 2022, a spokesperson did not dispute it, but said it no longer represented Vance's views. So I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical asshole like Nixon, who would be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler, he wrote privately to an associate on Facebook in 2016. I allow myself to focus so much on the stylistic element of Trump that I completely ignored, so he was an ever-Trumper, like some Republicans were in the beginning, I, of course, when I saw him go down the escalator, said he will be president. And he did become president, where most people said no, like J.D. Vance wasn't a supporter back then. But now I think he's one of the greatest guys out there. Some people say that maybe J.D. Vance was replaced. I don't know. I don't know. There's all kind of crazy conspiracies out there, guys. Vance implied in a 2021 interview that victims of rape and incest should be required to carry pregnancies to term. So is he still like that? I don't think so. I don't know. He's got some radical views, or did at some point, but now I think he's a fantastic vice president. I don't have any problem with him. Laura Loomer took out Mike Waltz, right? It seems like, but she's saying she took him out because he didn't support Trump, but he didn't support Trump all the way back in 2016. So Loomer played a 2016 advertisement for an anti-Trump PAC featuring Waltz, in which he criticized Trump's statement mocking service members who'd been captured in combat. It's something that I just personally can't stomach. Now, he was talking about John McCain, if I'm not mistaken. John McCain proved himself to be a bad man, right? Now, I knew John McCain was a bad man for a long time. I've talked about that, how I saw John McCain. I was like, I was in Sedona, Arizona, living in Sedona, Arizona. He was the senator, and he came overseas to Pakistan, where I was in the CIA as a protection detail guy and security. And I was assigned to help provide more security for him while he came through Pakistan, and then obviously was meeting with CIA types, and then went to Syria. Now, in Syria, he met with al-Baghdadi, who President Trump was, he came in and he was the head of ISIS, and he was killed very quickly after Trump came into office first term. And that basically destroyed ISIS. So he destroyed the leadership of ISIS and destroyed ISIS. But now they're back again. All right, so they took over. They came back and they took over Syria. John McCain was seen in photos with al-Baghdadi, and that happened right after I saw him in Pakistan. When I saw him in Pakistan, I was like, that man is a bad man. I always thought he was good. And then I heard from other people over the time that he was not very well liked in the Naval Academy. He was an F up in his, he was put in the pilot program, and the pilot program of the Naval Academy is like the top tier. And he was like, in his class, he was like, I don't think he was last, but he was like next to last or something like that. So obviously, Daddy Admiral basically put him in that position, and he crashed planes everywhere and crashed in combat. And because he flew too low and got his planes shot up, he hot dogged, got his planes shot up. And I heard this from pilots. They didn't like him, right? So maybe some do, but some that I talked to didn't, right? And of course, we saw his casket when he died was wrinkled, and that's the sign of a traitor. Same with George H.W. Bush, who we know was at the JFK assassination and had hired, basically recruited a lot of the people that were there in the assassination team. There was a huge assassination team, and George H.W. Bush was, back in those days, was the guy that basically put it together. He worked for the CIA. And the CIA, remember, he was the head of the CIA for a period of time. And they named the road that's going into the CIA, George H.W. Bush Boulevard. How about that? Now, so obviously he served a function for the Luciferian CIA. All right, so now you're like, Mike, you work for the CIA. How could you say that? Right? So because I saw the bullshit that goes on in the background, right? Everything's compartmentalized. So if you get out of line, then you get destroyed. Now, you know that Epstein Island stuff and the Playboy Mansion stuff and P. Diddy stuff. P. Diddy's trial starts on Monday. I guess opening arguments. But they want dirt on people. So I had done a lot of stuff, good stuff for the CIA. and they liked me a lot. Everywhere I went, everybody wanted me. Everywhere I go, people want to know, where's Mike? Right? We want him at our place because no attacks happen. He does a really good job. And everybody, we have stations that we're about ready to close down. Mike shows up and we rebuild them, and we find people and we take them out, terrorists. It's amazing. So we like when Mike shows up because good things happen. So they put me on a lie detector test, and I'd passed lie detector tests my whole career. I did natural bodybuilding contests, and the top people in the natural bodybuilding contests, they do lie detectors, make sure you weren't doing illegal drugs. So I've been passed so many lie detector tests, it's crazy. I did one for the CIA, and I heard a year later, I'm like, what's going on? I should be, advanced. I should be making more money, all this kind of stuff. What are you guys doing? It's like, and then I got a call. This is like a year out. It's like, you didn't pass the lie detector test. And so I answered some questions, and then they were going to promote me anyway. So they're going to go pass, because the lie detector test, they want to find dirt. They want to be able to control you. I didn't have any dirt on me. It's kind of like President Trump. They have been going after him, trying to find dirt on him, and they've never been able to find dirt on him. I don't know. Maybe I got the same kind of soul alignment. I don't know. But they never really found dirt on him. They couldn't find dirt on me. So they wanted to get rid of me. And so I went in and I answered all these questions. I was like, what do you mean? What are you guys talking about? Why? How could I not? And they're like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, but we're going to advance you now. So I answered some questions that they had some problems with. And I was like, what the heck, But I tell you, when that happened, I was like, screw this. I was like, screw this. All the things that I've done for this organization over the last 11 years, and this is how I get treated, I'm out. Right. So I basically resigned and then went off, and they tried to destroy my life, but it didn't work. Right. Because I'm a good guy. And here I am. I'm talking to, hundreds of thousands of people, and it's great. So guys like Juan O'Savin, he doesn't talk very good about the CIA either, does he? He wrote books about the corn, the people of the corn, right? The farm, the corn people. So they grow corn on the farm, right? So he talks about all that. He doesn't type. He doesn't. I think maybe he's had some affiliation with the CIA, maybe similar to me, because he's obviously an intelligence guy. I think he's worked for a different agency, the good agency, and who knows what that is. Everything's compromised, everything's infiltrated, probably even the truther community guys. So back to Laura Loomer. So who's and I heard RFK Jr. Because RFK Jr. just recently said that I think it's Casey Means, I think that's her name, that Trump just appointed as what is her position? What is it? It's basically the Attorney General, I think. Not Attorney General, but the health general. I don't know. I'll get to it in a minute. I have a long list of things I'm going to cover. Of course, I go off on tangents, but it's to build a bigger case here of why the Dems are trying to go violent and take America back, guys. That's what all this goes to. So is Laura Loomer involved with this? Whether she wants to be, or whether she's just got a strong opinion about Waltz, and she says, I don't want you framing this as, oh, Laura Loomer tried to get Michael Waltz fired. I didn't go in there trying to get him fired. I was just making the point that I'm a Trump loyalist. I never campaigned against Trump. Michael Waltz was working with a PAC that was trying to actively campaign against. So that's where she's at. That's where she's at on that, right? So she's not saying that I went after Mike Waltz. It sounds like she did to me, but she's saying, oh no, I was just bringing attention to this and that. All right. So a lot of you guys know Isaac Cappy. So Isaac Cappy exposed a lot of people, and you might remember Epstein Island, Pizzagate, satanic pedophiles, blah, blah, blah. Right? So that was Isaac Cappy. Do you guys remember Isaac Cappy? Well, I thought he was a great revealer. And a lot of things he revealed seem to have come true. So let's see what he says about Laura Loomer.
All over the place. Jack Vasilbiak, Gabe Hoffman, Mike Cernovich, Laura Loomer.
Laura Loomer?
Gabe Hoffman is running ops on people. He is
running ops on people. So now this is from Liz Crokin. So Liz Crokin obviously has exposed a lot of the pedophile. She was the biggest one on Pizzagate. All the symbolism, the emails and so forth. She exposed a lot of this stuff. She exposed So I'm not going to go down those rabbit holes, but she exposed a lot of stuff going on in the political circles, Clinton, and on and on and on. So
I die, dude. I look like I've seen a ghost. Yeah, and someone that was very close to me. I'm pretty sure they were just there to infiltrate me. These are really fucking bad people, and I'm
infiltrate.
Beyond pissed. I don't even know how to describe the feeling inside of me. It's bad. It's bad, guys. These people are bad. They tried to set someone up that you know and love. They're fucking evil. These people are evil.
So I don't know if she said anything about Liz Crokin. Maybe Liz can talk about that. I think Liz is great. I think she's done great work. But and I really don't have anything against Laura Loomer, other than if she's an infiltrator, that needs to be exposed, right? So is she or is she not? Let's go down the rabbit hole a little bit more. There's more to reveal here. You make your own decision. So let's look at Casey Means. All right. Now, Stacy, I keep calling her Casey, but Stacy Means, and she's the new Surgeon General, right? Surgeon General. So there's a lot of people saying that how can she be Surgeon General and she's not a doctor, blah, blah, blah. She talks about that. She went on Tucker Carlson's show. I think it was like a couple of years ago. I remember seeing her and her brother, and she was basically going through, I guess you got to go through, years of being a slave for hospitals. You do an internship. They work you like a doctor. They get all this work out of you, and it's supposed to be so you can prove yourself that you can be a doctor, right? Brainwashing. I don't know what's going on, but so she was going through that, and she got disillusioned. And let's see some of the things that she talks about. If you missed that one that she did with Tucker Carlson, I highly recommend that. I'm gonna give you a little piece of that. Here's a little piece of it right here.
They make us sick, but they don't kill us, and then we are drugged for life. If you look at what's happening in children, a child born in a hospital in the United States today, within hours of coming from source into this body, the first thing that happens to them is pharmaceutical intervention without really asking. There's barely informed consent about this. That child's eyes are smeared with erythromycin ointment, and they're given a hepatitis B vaccine in their first day of life. And what are these two things for? I mentioned this because it's just emblematic of how we're put on the pharma treadmill from the moment we are born in this country for reasons that are very strange. The erythromycin ointment is to prevent chlamydial infections of the eye, which we test women for chlamydia. So why would every baby in the United States need this ointment if the mom doesn't have it? And the Hep B vaccine is for hepatitis B, which is a sexually transmitted disease and IV drug user disease, of course, which babies are not going to be exposed to. And yet every single baby in America is getting the intervention. So,
all right. So, her whole interview is like that, guys. She blows it up. And God, I'm so glad that President Trump has her as the new Surgeon General.
You would think that the American healthcare system and our government agencies would be clamoring to fix metabolic health and reduce American suffering and costs, but they're not. They are deafeningly silent about metabolic dysfunction and its known causes. It's not an overstatement to say that I learned virtually nothing at Stanford Medical School about the tens of thousands of scientific papers that elucidate these root causes of why American health is plummeting and how environmental factors are causing it. For instance, in medical school, I did not learn that for each additional serving of ultra-processed food we eat, early mortality increases by 18%. This now makes up 67% of the foods our kids are eating. I took 0 nutrition courses in medical school. I didn't learn that 82%.
Now, I'll insert this because she was talking about this in her interview with Tucker Carlson. They were talking about how, remember big tobacco, when their cigarettes were causing cancer, they found cancer-causing stuff in cigarettes. I don't know if it's like that anymore, but there's still that Surgeon General warning that's on cigarette packs. So I've never been a fan of cigarettes. Both my parents were like heavy smokers, and it was a great way to convince me not to, because I hated all the smoke. So she talked about how all of those scientists that work for the cigarette industry pretty much lost their jobs, but they went right over to big agriculture and started to do all of the same things that they did with the cigarettes to make them cancer causing. And now we have an explosion of obesity, diabetes, you name the problem here in America now.
Of independently funded studies show harm from processed food, while 93% of industry-sponsored studies reflect no harm. In medical school, I didn't learn that 95% of the people who created the recent USDA food guidelines for America had significant conflicts of interest with the food industry. I did not learn that 1 billion pounds of synthetic pesticides are being sprayed on our food every single year. 99% of the farmland in the United States is sprayed with synthetic pesticides, many from China and Germany. And these invisible, tasteless chemicals are strongly linked to autism, ADHD, sex hormone disruption, thyroid disease, sperm dysfunction, Alzheimer's, dementia, birth defects, cancer, obesity, liver dysfunction, female infertility, and more, all by hurting our metabolic health. I did not learn that the 8 billion tons of plastic that have been produced just in the last 100 years, plastic was only invented about 100 years ago, are being broken down into microplastics that are now filling our food, our water, and we are now even inhaling them in our air. And that
All right, now does this sound like someone that is aligned with Big Pharma? Does that sound like someone that's aligned to Big Pharma? I don't think so, right? I do not think so. But there's a lot of people that are saying yes. A lot of people are saying yes. And they're trying to call her out as being a threat. She's not MAGA. She's not helping us take America back. She's the opposition. She's the opposition. She does not sound like the opposition to me. And I've been listening to her for, like I said, a couple of years since I saw her on Tucker Carlson show. So here is where she went on to wows a liberal audience and gets them to cheer for JFK Jr.'s HHS nomination. So this is really where things are going. They really came after RFK Jr. because he was an anti-vax guy. They didn't like him, so they really came after him. So yes, why wouldn't they do this or try and do the same to Dr. Casey Means? So doctor, obviously not a medical doctor, probably did her doctorate in something else. But as she said, she was undergoing to become a doctor and then got disillusioned and didn't want to be part of that system. So now she's going to be able to come in and take that system apart, guys. The evil side of it. There's a good side of that, of course, and there's the evil side of that. So we want the good side to stay, and we want the evil side to go away. Now, I've heard from RFK Jr., who has said that there are people starting to line up to help him. Now, why would they do that? Because they're gonna start to lose money. But there's a lot of people in that industry, guys, that have seen, just like Dr. Casey Means, have seen the problems that are being caused, and the it's an attack on America. Now, listen to this: what she says about how much we spend, and the rest of the world spends less. Yet we're the bottom of the world in healthcare and for our citizens.
If they knew everything, then why would we be spending $4.5 trillion per year on healthcare costs and life expectancy is going down in the United States? Why are 80% of healthcare costs going towards chronic illnesses that are rooted in diet and lifestyle, yet at the vast majority of American medical schools, doctors in training are not taking a single nutrition course? And so you have to ask these questions. If we were crushing it, we would not be spending 2x every other country in the entire world and have the lowest life expectancy of any developed country in the entire world.
So yeah, she's definitely informed. She's not reading off paper there. She knows this information. It's exceptional. It doesn't sound like she's promoting Big Pharma at all to me. And I saw an interview where RFK Jr. was basically saying that there were influencers that are being paid to come after Dr. Stacy Means. He didn't mention any names, but let's look at one of them that is coming after Dr. Stacy Means.
All the doctors who we were told were going to revolutionize medicine in America, we now have like a full-blown grifter, somebody who has completely subverted the entire movement, pretending to be somebody like you or somebody like, an original Maha Mom, now presenting herself in this manner that she's going to challenge the establishment, but everything with her behavior suggests that she is part of the establishment.
Wow, I didn't get that at all. I didn't get that she's part of the establishment at all. So there's obviously, I believe, and maybe Laura Loomer knows something I don't know, but maybe she knows something about Mike Waltz that I don't know. So, but it sounds like, according to some people, right, from the past, that she's not good, and here she is taking down, or trying to take down people that are in, I believe, Maha, make America healthy again, make America great again. So was Isaac Cappy offline? Was he off the reservation when he called out Laura Loomer way back? And now we see Laura Loomer doing this. You be the judge. You be the judge. All right. So what else is Doge disclosing? So we know that Doge is basically breaking down the deep state system. Democrat propaganda as usual. You may be right. So you may be right, Brian. I don't know. So, but Gallons, thank you very much. And sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. I meant to take that out. All right. So Doge is still active. Now, we've heard this before, where Doge was talking about how you got little Hilly, Chelsea, little Chelsea Hillary, little girl from another father, not Bill. We know all that story. I'm not going to. We all know this stuff, and we know they're corrupt. They're a corrupt family. So Doge investigation. confirmed that USAID did indeed. So we've heard this, but now the investigative work goes deeper, guys, and we get, confirmation. Someone has the information now, like Pam Bondi, right? So USAID did indeed give Chelsea Clinton a grant of $82 million through the Clinton Global Initiative money laundering scheme, obviously. $3 million of which were spent on her wedding. So I guess she was given that grant to go help people all over the world. So she helped herself to some of that, help other people. Right? $3 million went on her wedding, and $11 million went on a mansion. By the way, no income tax was paid on any of this money. If this were you or me, we would be in jail. It is high time for Pam Bondi to stop the big talk and start prosecuting some of these criminals. All right, so another. Let's go after the people that are really doing the work behind the scenes and make them look bad. I don't know. Now, is this really Baron Trump? All right, I don't think so. It's News Baron. It's News Baron. So somebody with Baron Trump's little picture, and it's like, wow. All right, so there seems to be a lot of smearing going on to me. So we have to be aware of that going forward, guys. Just be aware that huge fan of Doge. Who can argue their cleanup results thus far? I know, right, Eliza? So I don't. I think it's fantastic. It's basically it's taking away the deep state money. Sealing the border is taking away the deep state money. Does Dr. Casey Means intend to take away the deep state money? I believe so. So why would Laura Loomer get involved in trying to make her look bad? I don't know. Laura Loomer is going to have to justify, where she's coming from on all this. All right. So we got FBI arrests Milwaukee judge. We already know this. Accused of helping a man evade immigration authorities. So again, the judicial system has to be what? It has to, the criminal judicial system, like this judge, has to be removed. She is a criminal. She is a criminal. I'm not just saying that. It is fact. You can do the investigative work. I have it for you right here. So FBI Director Kash Patel announced on social media the arrest of Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan, who he said intentionally misdirected federal agents away from a man they were trying to take into custody at her courthouse. Thankfully, our agents chased down. So she was aiding and abetting a criminal that was in her courtroom to go through a hearing. And when she heard that there were ICE agents outside to basically, after she was finished with her hearing, they were going to arrest him. So she let him escape. But unfortunately for her, there were agents that ran this guy down, took him into custody. So thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot. So she basically ferried him out to like a side exit for, I guess, the jurors, I think, a juror exit, side door, and let this guy escape. And she's supposed to be going through a process of, he's supposed to be going through her court to, like, get tried eventually, I guess. So she appeared, so Marshall's service spokesman said that she appeared briefly in federal court in Milwaukee later Friday before being released from custody. Her next appearance is May 15th. So 12, 30, 40. Yeah, so I think Thursday, or was that Wednesday, I think. Judge Duke, so it'll be interesting to see what goes from there. It's pretty cut and dry. She committed a crime. So, of course, her attorney and Associated Press is behind her and blah, blah, blah. So she's accused of escorting the man, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, and his lawyer out of the courtroom through the jury door on April 18th as a way to help avert his arrest, according to an FBI affidavit filed in court. So the affidavit describes Dugan as visibly angry over the arrival of immigration agents in the courthouse and says that she pronounced the situation absurd before leaving the bench and retreating to her chambers. It says she and another judge later approached members of the arrest team inside the courthouse, displaying what witnesses describe as a confrontational, angry demeanor. So we've seen this confrontational, angry demeanor just recently with congressional representatives in New Jersey trying to help ICE, go into ICE, not help ICE, but actually confronting and body slamming, physically getting involved with ICE agents, as we're going to see on video here pretty soon. So this criminal activity, why are these people trying to help illegal aliens? We know President Trump has said, I have said, many people have said, they were brought into this country to help the Democrats stay in power because they knew that the American public were no longer with them. And that for them to stay in power and turn our country into an unconstitutional dictatorship, pretty much, like Russia used to be, a communist country, they want that. They want that. They want to be the ones in charge because the people at the top in a communist country are very well off. And of course, they've been raiding and raping cities, across the United States, wherever they're, have been influenced for a long time and have destroyed cities across the United States. I'm not sure how people don't see this, but for whatever reason, they're allowed to stay in power, whether they cheat the vote or whether they're actually winning in the vote, I think remains to be seen. I think most of us think that most of the time they're not winning. They're cheating the vote. So make no mistake, we do not have kings in this country, and we are a democracy governed by laws that everyone else must abide by. Right? By relentlessly attacking the judicial system, flouting court orders, and arresting a sitting judge, this president is putting those basic democratic values that Wisconsinites hold dear on the line. Now, is that true, Wisconsinites? All right. I would say probably not. Probably not. And why would I say that? Because for the fact that the guy that she was allowing to escape, try and escape, that is, was quite the criminal. Quite the criminal, right? So we're going to look at that. So this guy, I guess he had some roommates, and they were like, they didn't like his loud music, so he beat the hell out of them. Beat the hell out of them. What to know about Eduardo Flores Ruiz, the man who appeared in Judge Hannah Dugan's Milwaukee courtroom. So this is the man that she's protecting. So he immigrated from Mexico. We know that. So he was prompted by a violation of the Immigration and Nationality Act and unlawful re-entry because he had been taken out of the country before. He had been found in the country and taken out of the country. Where was he taken? Nogales, I think, Arizona is where they took him and said, "Get out of here. You're illegal. You're here illegally." And then somehow he worked his way back in. All right. So I guess I'll find that in here somewhere. But anyway, take my word for it. He'd been here for many years before, and they basically took him to the border and said, "Get out of here." Here it is right here. Flores lived in the United States and was issued a notice and order of expedited removal by United States Border Patrol agents on January 16, 2013. He was arrested and deported to Mexico through the Nogales, Arizona port of entry shortly after. So all the way back in 2013, he was like, "Get out of here," right? So he made his way back. He was living here. So on March 28th, the Milwaukee Immigration Customs Enforcement Removal Operations, ICE, office was informed that Flores Ruiz was charged in a Milwaukee court case and facing 3 misdemeanor battery charges. So they plan to arrest Flores, as we know, as we just talked about, in a pre-trial. So this was going to be a pre-trial hearing. So when he was, initially arrested, fingerprints and photographs were taken by Milwaukee County Jail and electronically submitted to federal databases. So I saw that and was like, he's on our database. We, expedited him out of the country back in 2013, and now he's back. So we're going to arrest him and get him back out of here. But he should have stood trial. So he was at the pre-trial hearing. Now, so let me see. Where is it? What were the charges? Let me see if I can find those. Anyway, the state complaint against Flores details allegations of battery against his roommate and a woman who intervened. So he punched his roommate for complaining about his, I can't see it in here word by word, but he punched his roommate 30 times. And this other woman intervened, and I guess he punched her too. And then they called the cops, and he was arrested. And now he's standing pre-trial. So this is the guy that this judge wanted to intervene and help. So is this some kind of thing? Is this some kind of thing that's going on? That the Dems will allow criminals to stay here in the United States? Because if they allow one of them to be deported, then others could be deported. So they want to protect them all regardless, in my opinion. This is what they have been given marching orders, in my opinion. They are to protect all of them. Now, why? Why, after having the election that they lost, why are they still trying to keep them here? They lost. So why would they be so hardcore of trying to keep these illegal aliens here? That's very interesting, isn't it? So we have Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announces 6 arrests in Frio County for illegal vote harvesting scheme, including County Judge Rochelle Camacho. County Judge Rochelle Camacho. All right, so Camacho is going, I guess she's arrested too. She's arrested. So Texas is starting to crack down. So if you're starting to take away their judicial side, like we're seeing now, they're going to start to get desperate, guys. So this was back in January. 2nd Minnesota election judge faces criminal charges, Minnesota, adding to concerning day at the polls. So we're seeing this, the crackdown on election integrity, or no integrity, the crackdown on it, and it's going to have impacts. It's going to have impacts. Meanwhile, at the White House, we have some interesting things are going on. They're basically disclosing that, that thing that everybody talked about where they're underground tunnels and stuff. Actually, there are. All right, so here we are at the U.S. Capitol.
So this is one of the neat things about the U.S. Capitol. Of course, this building, construction started in the 1700s, and there are all sorts of little hidden passageways. You saw I just pulled this cover up, and you can see if we get the camera to come over, don't fall in. We don't need a workers' comp from today, but you can see.
Yeah, look at those steps going down. Yeah, so you could leave. Now, the story is, they love to tell this story, is like when the Capitol was burned by the British, this is how the British got in. I wonder who led them into that way. Who told them about that secret passage? So there's been corruption all the way back in this political arena, guys. It's been there for a long time. Now, President Trump has said Well, what did he say, Mike? What did he say? What did he say? What did he say? This is what President Trump has said about the illegals.
Today, I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program for illegal aliens. We are making it as easy as possible for illegal aliens to leave America. Any illegal alien can simply show up at an airport and receive a free flight out of our country. We have also launched a phone app called CBP Home. That's CBP Home, where illegals can book a free flight to any foreign country. As long as it's not here, you can go anywhere you want. We're also adding a very important exit bonus for illegals to further incentivize their self-deportation. This deportation bonus will save American taxpayers billions and billions of dollars.
Now, how many billions? We already know it's well over $1 trillion, guys. They spent over $1 trillion, I think $1.5 trillion bringing in illegal aliens during the Biden administration, 4 years. They have the evidence. So $1.5 trillion that we know of course. Probably a lot of money laundering going on and all that stuff too. That was going back and paying off judges and politicians and all kind of crazy stuff. But they spent $1.5 trillion to bring in these illegal aliens so that they could steal the vote and turn us into a communist dictatorship. Thank God President Trump came back in, right? So the sting operation, I think, has been going on for 4 years and all that. And a lot of this stuff is going to come out. You have to be a little bit patient. How long has President Trump been in office? And how long has he, he had to get all those people confirmed? I think it's one of the fastest confirmations in history for all those different offices. So a lot of these people haven't been in office, like Patel and Bondi and all. It's like only a few months, guys. They have to get in there and overcome years, decades even, of corruption and people like we've seen with the Trump administration, and I don't know, maybe people like Laura Loomer, that is, causing chaos, and these judges that are causing chaos. I don't know. It's insane. So yeah, we spend a few $1,000 here, I don't know, a couple $1,000 to put them on a plane, get them out of here. And they get a $1,000 bonus to get out. That's probably going to save tens of thousands it would take to track them down, get all the evidence that you needed so that you can get them out of here, and then get them to the border, and then fly them out. So, and they'll probably stay in some facility. Remember how President Trump was talking about how we're going to 30,000 people in Guantanamo, and then you had some kind of health inspector go down there and say, oh, it's got to be air conditioned. And so they stopped. So we're getting, pushback in all areas, guys. It's amazing they're getting anything done, but they're getting a lot done. It's like super fast.
Biden did to this country can never be explained, will never, ever be accepted. Eventually, when the illegals are gone, it will save us trillions of dollars. However, if illegal aliens choose to remain in America, they're remaining illegally and they will face severe consequences. Illegal aliens who stay in America face punishments, including significant jail time, enormous financial penalties, confiscation of all property, garnishment of all wages, imprisonment and incarceration, and sudden deportation in a place and manner solely of our discretion.
And that's a boom. That's a boom, boom. All right, so we're moving forward. We're winning. We're winning in a lot of different ways. Now, so back to the judges. Back to those crooked judges, guys. So remember when that flight was going full of MS-13? So the judge who attempted to halt the flights carrying alleged, don't you love how it's like they're like tattooed up and down with MS-13 insignia. It's not alleged. If they were like phonies and put illegal and put MS-13 tattoos on themselves, MS-13 gang members would probably show up and dismember them, right? So they have lots of MS-13 insignia. They were with MS-13 people. that have committed crimes, murder, rape, you name it. These are very evil people. So James Boasberg, a United States District Judge for the District of Columbia, issued a temporary restraining order. Now, the Trump administration said you did that while it was in flight, so it was null and void. It doesn't matter. We've already shipped out. If you did it before then on U.S. soil, then maybe you could have had some sway, but it didn't happen. So he questions the White House failing to turn around the planes again. And they're going to whine, and they're whining now about how Trump is trying to take down the judicial system, judges. He's trying to take down corrupt judges. We are infiltrated heavily. That's why the deep state has been able to function. Laws for thee, but not for we. All right. This is what the deep state has done. They've inserted bad judges, and who knows, maybe they weren't bad all the time. Maybe they went to a P. Diddy party and they did some bad things. They got drugged, and then they were found in compromise. But I don't remember that. It's like, well, we got video of it. Like, too bad. Now you're going to vote this way, and you're going to put out, you're going to try and get MS-13 members back into the United States because we need them. Why would the Democrat Party need MS-13 criminals? Why? They lost. This is they fell back, and then they're like, create the operation, activate the MS-13 gang members. We're going to take back America by force. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know that for sure, right? But it sure does seem like something like that, doesn't it? It doesn't make any other sense. Maybe there's a really good reason why they want to bring incredibly evil, satanic criminals back into the United States. Plane loads of them. Not just one, plane loads of them. So Trump has a way to overcome a lot of stuff, right? Trump taps Jeanine Pirro for top DC prosecutor job. So Jeanine Pirro, Firebrand commentator, has been sharply critical of the Dems. So yeah. So during Trump's first term, Pirro drew a rare rebuke from her own network in 2019, when she made controversial comments about Representative Ilhan Omar. Fox sucks. Fox News sucks. An episode during which Trump defended her. Nice. So that's good. I love Judge Jeanine Pirro. She's amazing. She's a fire hose of good information, and she doesn't step back. So she's going to be there in D.C., where that one corrupt judge is. That basically Boberg, whatever. Shame on Fox News. That's right. Or on the Lake. Shame. So absolutely shameful Fox News. All the way back in 2020, where you called the election way before you should have. So from that point on, I was like, Fox is dead to me. Fox News is dead to me. Occasionally, I will, go in there and see what the baddies are doing. And yeah, I watch CNN, but not for long. I get sick. I really do. I remember one time I thought I was watching Fox News. I was at the gym. I was working out, and I'm watching the news. This is before Fox News went bad, and I'm like, why do I feel bad? And it's like I was getting sick while I was watching the news. It's like I was getting programmed. And then it went CNN. I was like, that's stuff about them, putting stuff in there. I know all about that. So I was like, God, I was getting angry and I was like, wow, boy, that's in that. What's in that news? Don't watch it for long. Don't watch that news for long, guys. If you start getting angry, you know why now. They're putting stuff in there. All right. Ted Cruz mocks crazy town Dems as Maryland. So we knew about this Maryland senator that went down to get this MS-13 guy. He's like, he's constitutional. I'm just upholding the Constitution. I'm trying to get one of my peeps out of jail. He was wrongfully taken down there. So Ted Cruz mocks him. Senator Ted Cruz from Texas, mocked crazy town Democrats for defending illegal immigrants like alleged MS-13 gang members and Salvadoran national Kilmore Abrego Garcia over U.S. citizens, saying that many seem to have an incurable case of Trump derangement syndrome. So you can't just come out like I do and say, hey, they're going to use these guys to try and seize America back, all right, by force. He's not going to do that, but he's going to start pouring stuff out, right? Cruz's comments came after several Democrat lawmakers, including Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, he's got that Hollen, right? So traveled to El Salvador to advocate for Abrego Garcia's return to the U.S. He's got a loving wife and loving children, and then they find out, oh my God, he beat his wife, and she's not very happy, and he's not the father of those children. And the actual father is like, if he comes back, I'm getting my kids. All right. So, I mean, come on. It's not that hard to see this. Not that hard. All right. So let's look at what this old boy has done. Tennessee pulled him over for traffic violation. And this is what they got.
We know of the man talked about around the world. That's Kilmore Abrego Garcia in the driver's seat. The same man now sitting in an El Salvadorian prison after White House officials admitted to mistakenly deporting him last month. He's been called a dangerous member of the notorious gang MS-13 by some of those same officials. But back in
mistakenly deported? Did they actually say that, or is that what this newscaster is saying? You got to be careful with this. Anyway, President Donald Trump said he would listen to advice from his attorneys on handling a Supreme Court ruling that required the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's return. But his administration has said they have no plans to return Garcia. So in that video, basically, they go on to identify that he was trafficking illegal aliens. Trafficking them. And he had like $1,400. Evidently, he had been paid $1,400. And who knows, maybe that's on one side, and then the other side, he gets paid again. So the man we saw in the video did not have tattoos on his hands and appeared cordial with troopers as they struggled to understand one another through broken English. Who wrote this bullshit? Nashville. Jeez. Yeah. All right. So we know the Dems are trying to take over Nashville. Troopers explain, and Tennessee as a whole. Troopers explain they stopped Abrego for going 10 miles over the speed limit. Said he was confused because he said the speed limit was 70, but he must have missed it when it went back to 65. Trooper acknowledged that the speed limit does go back and forth. And so the trooper said a license had expired and that the SUV belongs to his boss. And there's like 4 rows of seats. They basically converted this van to be able to hold a lot of people. So then another trooper comes up and says, you know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money. Probably his payment for hauling them. So talking about the cash that he found on him, I guess. So that is where we're at, guys. And did Tennessee arrest him for human trafficking? Nashville, you arrest him for human trafficking? I don't know. Tennessee tunnels. Yeah, lots of Tennessee tunnels. Lots of Tennessee tunnels. Al Gore State. You know, I remember when you used to come from west to east, there was like a sign on the Mississippi Bridge that goes from what's the state? Arkansas, I think, over to Tennessee. And on that bridge, they used to have the home of Al Gore or something like that, and they took that down later. They took that down later. All right. So they're not proud of that anymore. Because Al Gore, his family is involved in that, guys. His family's involved in that. And I've had people on there talk about that. All right. Newark mayor arrested as Dem Congress member stormed New Jersey ICE prison to conduct oversight visits. So the ICE facility said, if you called us 24 hours in advance, you can do this, but you just can't show up and storm our facility. We're going to resist because you don't have authority. And so the Dems basically, why did they want to conduct an oversight facility at a prison that has rapists and murderers? At a facility that has rapists and murderers. This is very strange behavior. And they were fighting. They were fighting the ICE officers. All right. So let's look at this. Let's look at this fight. It's quite a shit show out there that we're seeing. New body cam footage shows unhinged Democrat lawmakers assaulting ICE agents, debunking their claims. So they're saying if you see the ICE agents, or if you see us like fighting, the ICE agents made that video up. They just did. They just made it. We didn't do that. So let's see. All right. So there's a lot of argument going on there. Let's go over here to X and let's watch where basically this guy's being arrested. See, that woman's pushing on that. That's assault. That's assault. That's assault. So they're trying to get in. They're just storming. They're trying to storm the gate, go into the facility where all these rapists and murderers are. What the heck is wrong with these people? So here they are trying to arrest him, and she's trying to get involved. That's arrestable too. So they showed great restraint. They showed great restraint, but from all these videos that these guys have, they're probably gonna start arresting more of these congressional staff members, all right, and actual people that are Congress people. So will Mike Johnson, love the world, make America great again. Yes, so that's what we're trying to do here. Good, thank you. And so now we're going to look at this a little bit deeper. Let's look a little deeper at this congressional Shiat show. All right. These guys, why would they become so unhinged to get all these people back? Congresswoman at protest tells CNN ICE has manufactured body cam footage. These members of Congress know they are in some deep shit now. They're claiming that any additional footage from body cams will be manufactured to show violence. These people need to be reined in and held accountable for what they did. All right. It is crazy. It's quite crazy. It's crazy town. Crazy town. All right. So yeah, this is basically a facility for criminals, rapists, and murderers. And the Dems are trying to storm it to free these people. And we had the one Dem that went down to El Salvador on the dime of Maryland taxpayers. And I don't know, maybe some federal funds were put in there too. I don't know. But he went down there and was trying to get this guy back. This guy that you saw was doing human trafficking, wife beater. Those weren't his kids. So, all right. So President Donald Trump announced on Monday, this is March 24th. So last month, been a couple months ago, or a couple weeks ago, that he's appointing his former lawyer, Alina Habba, who was previously his civil litigation attorney, and he's appointed her where she shows to represent him and blah blah blah. So she's going to be interim U.S. attorney in New Jersey. So we have Janine Shapiro in Washington D.C., who's a great supporter, and then we have so we're taking back the judicial side, arresting those criminal judges all over the place, and putting people that we know are good. So Alina Habba is in a great position. Now, Dan Bongino, he says, I'd like to update you on some things. He says the workforce has been working overtime on task force operations to remove dangerous, illegal aliens from the country. The work continues. The message is clear. If you came here illegally to prey on our citizens, your days here are numbered. These removal and incarceration operations will dramatically change the crime landscape in the country. When combined with the administration's laser focus on sealing the border shut, get the criminals out, crime goes down, Democrats don't have anything to stand on. They have to have these criminals here to maintain their power. So he goes on to talk about how they're clearing information. He goes on to say, I've no desire to sugarcoat this. It's been difficult in this new role to stay relatively quiet, because he was outspoken like me, while certain elements in the media continue to entirely fabricate stories. Like that one congresswoman that's like, if you see any more videos of me being violent, I fabricated that. Wow. These people, and I can tell you, this is reality. These people make up lies. They believe their lies, and then they attack you if you don't believe their lies. And if you have the information that their lies are false or fake, they attack you for that information. It's insane. These people are insane, guys. They should not be in positions of power. So he goes on to say, while I can't address all of the nonsense in this one post, I will address the repeated attacks on Director Patel. The director's office is attached to mine. I'm in most of the briefings he is in. He spends anywhere between 10 to 12 hours in the office attending meetings with everyone from foreign heads of law enforcement to our counterterror teams and more. So I've been in offices like this, guys. When I was a SEAL team, and then when I was in the CIA, you can spend 10 to 12 hours in office, and I spent even more. I would when I was my last SEAL command, where I was the operations chief for SEAL Team 4. I would be in the office. I'd get in early, and I'd work out. I would lead PTs. Here I am, like 40, 41, leading PTs for all the young guys and crushing them, of course, and doing bodybuilding contests. So, and then I'd get done with my crushing them workout, and then I go work out at night in the gym. So it was amazing time. But I would sometimes, because I had so many different hats on, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and all these guys were wearing multiple hats, guys, and it's very time consuming trying to keep up with everything. So I would sometimes tell the watch officer, just go home because I'm going to be here. If there's anything that comes up, I would sleep on my couch in my office, which was next to the, operations officer. It was very busy. So I know these guys are like really hitting it. So please don't criticize them. They're getting hammered and they're doing good work. I appreciate these guys. I got their backs. So he goes on to say, any assertion otherwise is a verifiable lie designed to stop our reforms and fracture your trust. So you have to be careful with following some of these people out there. And start to notice when you have lots of people calling stuff out, other people out, maybe there's something you need to look at, and maybe there's something that's not quite right. So he says, I will die on this hill. You are being clearly lied to by people with an agenda, and it's not your agenda. All right. So we have people still spreading misinformation. So we have a newly imprisoned, murderous, anti-Christo MS-13 gang member. He has been sentenced to 55 years in prison for his role in the killings of 4 men in New York and another in Virginia. So the countdown starts for the Dems to basically come and rescue this guy. Democrat Party is going to adopt him as one of their own. All right. So he is a guy that basically, when he takes people out, he does it with a machete. So countdown's on. And I think the author of that article and myself, we're being a little bit facetious, but maybe not so much, right? Maybe not so much. All right. So breaking news. This was May 6th, or what is it? Check, make sure. It's May 6th. President Trump bans deadly gain-of-function research that likely caused the pandemic. Gain-of-function. So I guess in November of this year, Anthony Fauci is going to stand a Nuremberg-type trial. That's fact. Right? That's a fact, Jack. And that was put out by Maha, great RFK Jr. So he's on this stuff. All right. So of course, Kennedy's on this too. He's very supportive. Says the Library of National Institutes of Health, NIH, defines gain-of-function research on viruses as enhancing transmissibility, virus replication, virulence, host range, immune evasion, or drug and vaccine resistance to get insights into the viral mechanisms, to create and analyze animal models, to accelerate drug and vaccine development, and to improve pandemic preparedness. So, as we saw in the last pandemic, NIH basically did gain of function to create the coronavirus, the COVID-19. And supposedly that escaped from Wuhan laboratory, where they had commissioned Wuhan to do the study, and it infected the Chinese and then spread all over the world. Miraculously, spread all over the world. It was so virulent, spread all over the world. Now, Monday night, Kennedy explained the history of gain-of-function research in Fauci's actions, stating Anthony Fauci essentially restarted the bioweapons arms race and did it under the pretense of developing vaccines. The president of the United States today moved to shut down this kind of research in this country and stopped funding it abroad, because it was not legal for gain-of-function research here in the United States. So they shipped it out to we taxpayers paid for it to go to China. China. And like Trump said, the Wuhan flu. And like in my remote view, it was purposefully released, right? All around the world. Purposefully. And I think that there's some people that have talked about how there were special forces teams that stopped it coming to the United States earlier. All right, so now Fort Detrick used to be the place where they used to do all this stuff. And I guess they started doing it again. All right. So I guess the Biden administration must have allowed it to start again. So they were doing it. And there was, it says, NIH nor military staff were directly involved in the incident that just happened back in March of 2025. A serious incident involving 2 laboratory workers. Says one of the workers poked holes in the high biocontainment suit of another worker, potentially exposing the latter to at least one dangerous pathogen, although the specific pathogen has not been disclosed. So this was basically farmed out to another company, subcontractors, and it goes into all that. I'm not going to go in. I've seen all this stuff as a contractor myself. It's crazy. Yeah, the way that you can get yourself, recognized. You get like an Indian reservation basically to take you on because they have higher success rates. So that's what they did with this company, and they started doing all kind of crazy bioweapons. So these are considered tier 1 pathogens, which are considered deadly. You got the Ebola, Marburg, tick-borne encephalitis, hemorrhagic, all kind of reconstructed 1918 influenza virus. Wow. I'm glad these guys do their research. It's really helping out, right? So these 2 were basically, I guess, and they didn't say whether it was a male or female, but I guess these 2 were having an argument because they had a falling out, but they were working together in a tier 1. It's like you have to go through all kinds of training. It was a lover spat. The 2 co-workers involved were in a toxic relationship that had turned sour. And they're working in a tier 1 bio facility at Fort Detrick. Wow. So the incident is not isolated. It is part of a broader pattern of safety lapses at Fort Detrick. They have a poor culture of safety. So I think this is the guy. One of these guys basically was there at Detrick. He's the guy that supposedly leaked the the anthrax that they found in some congressmen's people's, and I guess 5 people ended up dying. Congress people's mail that was mailed to the White House, and the guy that supposedly they were trying to frame, I believe, committed suicide. Yeah, because eventually the FBI did the research and found that it came from they were saying it came from overseas, it was manufactured and all that kind of stuff, but it was like super high grade, military grade anthrax, and they traced it back to Fort Detrick, and they basically framed this one guy that was in charge, and then he committed suicide before he could testify that that's bullshit. It's like, yeah, he did it. Oh, he committed suicide. Obviously, he was guilty, right? These are some evil people. So, fortunately, President Trump has shut that shit down. So the facility has basically been shut down. That's where it's at right now. And they're not allowed to do any more. They're doing ongoing investigation work. Details of shutdown were not publicly disclosed at the time. with the CDC citing national security as a reason for keeping information about the closure private. So, hello, did some of this shit leak out? Wow. So we know these guys are getting desperate. So attorney generals in New Jersey, Delaware, and 17 other states asked federal judge to reverse deep cuts to U.S. Health and Human Services. We know through Doge there's all kind of corruption. So this corruption is being found. Now, where are these 19 states that are complaining about the shutdowns, the corruption that they were probably benefiting from, in my opinion? So let's look at it. Attorneys General in 19 states and Washington, D.C. Let's see if Janine Shapiro can reverse that bullshit. Right? Are challenging cuts to U.S. Health and Human Services Agency, saying the Trump administration's massive restructuring has destroyed life-saving programs and left states to pick up the bill for mounting health crises. Well, if you get on board with MAHA, then you won't have health crises, but we know how that works, as we've seen. All right, so where are these coming from? Attorneys generals from Arizona, Democrat state, California, Democrat state. I'm not even going to say it anymore because we know they're all Democrat states. Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Michigan, Maryland, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Washington, Wisconsin, and the District of Columbia. All Democrat states. The Democrats are trying to destroy America. God, I've said this so many times. And I've said the Democrat Party has to go away. They're going to go away, but still they're there. All right. So Diddy trial drama. All right. So it's in the Southern District of New York, which is a known area for corruption. Known area, and the corruption has already started. So one of the prosecution's key witnesses has mysteriously gone missing just days before opening statements are set to begin on Monday. They've been unable to reach victim 3, a central figure expected to deliver bombshell testimony against the hip-hop mogul. The missing woman, who does not reside in New York, had planned to testify without using a pseudonym. That appears to not have worked well for her, but I don't know. Now her attorney is missing too. Her attorney's missing too. So, or maybe they just pulled back. They're like, it's going to be too dangerous. You're going to get killed. So just don't do it. Right? I don't know. And I'm going to disappear too, because I've had threats. Who knows, guys? It's a dangerous business against the deep state. Very dangerous. All right. USAID and others with fraud. What's that? They say that departments like USAID with their fraud, the Doge team found is just being moved around to other departments like State Department with the same agenda as possible. So I think that's good. We have that is good conversation to have going on out there. I don't think that's tearing anything down. We just need to be aware, very, very aware of everything. And I don't know, maybe Laura Loomer, even though Isaac Cappy said that she was an infiltrator, maybe not. Maybe she's putting out good information and taking down people left and right that we're trying to do good work. I don't know. I don't know. So we'll see. I hope these missing people were in protective custody. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, guys. That's all I've got for now. Stay in the love vibration. If you're not on LifeWave, get the links. Get on it. It's the best thing for you. Lots of amazing things are happening for a lot of people. All right. Okay, guys. Stay in the love vibration, and I'll see you guys next time.